So let's start with the first kind of vocab. So the first thing is a point, and you're like, a point is just a point. Well, a point is a point, but a point is technically a location. And a point has no shape or size. When you're naming a point, you always have to use a capital letter for your point, and you have to say the word point. What's up? Oh, it's on top of the rainbow card. Does everybody have a paper? So we're gonna literally say point A. So that's how you would name it. So if it asks for like, I don't know, this is like really simple because there's nothing else in your picture. But if you flip to the back side, there's lots of points and there's lots of lines. So the way you would ask, like if they ask for two lines that intersect, you would say point C or whatever point it is. Okay, so the next thing is a line. A line is made up of multiple points. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Ooh. Technically like an infinite number of points. So a line has multiple points on it, just a bunch of points. Any 2 points form a line. So you always need your starting point, and then wherever, if I have a point down here, you could connect them and that line would be going side to side or down. A line has no width or curves. So last year you talked about your quadratics and your exponential functions, and it was like a curved line. For these lines for geometry, we're just talking about straight lines. None of them are going to have any curves or anything like that. It's going to be nothing weird. To name a line, use any 2 points on the line or a lowercase script letter. So there are 3 letters in this little picture over here, 2 of which are points and 1 of which is not a point. So which 2 are actually a point? X and Y. So you could say line XY. You could also technically say, and on the back when we do this, like there's multiple ways to say the same thing. So we could say or XY, and then we could put a little line on top of it, which is normally how it's going to be because math people are lazy and we don't like to write words. So we try to shorthand everything. So a little XY with literally a line on top means a line. Or you could use one lowercase script letter. So this little N, it's not a point, it's not on the line, it's kind of off to the side. So you could say line N. And it's supposed to be a little script, it's supposed to be like that fancy N. And then you have vocabulary words. So you have collinear points. And those are points that are on the same line, and non-collinear points. And you're like, she is like making up stuff right now. None of you would have learned this at any point in your lives. Somebody during like second period was freaking out because they were like super stressed about these words. None of you have probably heard this ever in your life. It's brand new. So collinear are points that fall on the same line. So which 2 points are on the same line? X and Y. Okay, so let's put X and Y. And then we're going to add a little letter to our picture. So let's add a W. Why not? So I have point W, it's not on the line. That would be an example of non-collinear points. X and Y are technically collinear, but if I add in W, X, Y, and W are non-collinear because W is not on the line. He's just chilling off to the side. Bless you. So because it says you have to use at least 3 points, W is what makes it non-collinear because W is not on the line, but you would have to use 3 letters to say they're non-collinear. So X, Y, and W combined are non-collinear because W specifically is not on the line. And then the next thing is, do you need to go to the bathroom? So bring me your phone and then you can go. The next thing is a plane. And this is where people get confused because they're like, what the heck is a plane? A plane is a flat surface. So a plane is like the top of your table. A plane is like this wall. this smart board thing, anything with a flat surface, so that back wall is a plane, a door is a plane, anything with a flat surface is a plane. So a plane is a flat surface. And it's technically made up of points. Just like a line has infinite number of points on it, a plane all technically has points on it as well. Any 3 points make up a plane. And a plane extends indefinitely in all directions. So just because this wall technically has a ceiling, technically in mathematics, like a business, this would continue forever into like the clouds, forever going straight up. Okay. To name a plane, use 3 non-collinear points on the plane or an uppercase script letter. So once again, you have 4 letters over here. Which 3 are actually points? K, J, and L. So you could use 3 points because these are 3 non-collinear points, meaning they're not on the same line because there's not even a line like in this picture. Or you could use your uppercase script letter. So notice P does not have a point next to it. So P is like kind of like this, how we had like this little N next to the line. It's kind of like the name of the line. This is the name of the plane. It's not a point because it doesn't have a point. Over here, it did not have its own point. So it's usually like in the corner right next to it. So you could say or plane P. And then kind of the same idea when we talked about collinear. That means on the line. Non-collinear is not on the line. You have coplanar points, which are points that fall on the same plane. And you have you have non-coplanar points, which are not on the same plane. So once again, I'm going to add a point to my picture. So let's go over here. Let's add a little M because M, yeah, it's not an M. So the points that lie on the same plane would be K, J, and L because they're actually on that plane on that parallelogram. K, J, and L. And then whenever you're saying non-coplanar points, you have to use at least 4 points. So although the 3 are on the same plane, I have this oddball that's not on the plane. So I would say J, K, L, and M technically are non-coplanar because M is not on the plane. The other 3 are, but M is not. Julie, put your phone away. Okay. And the last 2 things are intersecting lines and planes. So it says 2 lines intersect at a something. When 2 lines intersect, what did you say? A point. Good job. So when 2 lines intersect, it creates technically a point. So this answer would be like point P because that's where they cross at, which is easy to tell. You have like a one-dimensional, 2 lines make a point. Now we have to think, if I have 2 planes that intersect, what is it going to create? Think about like a line. Who said that? You said that? A line. That's correct. So 2 planes intersect, creating a line technically. And what could I call this line? Line K. Because if I look, it's like if I take 2 pieces of paper and if they were to cross paths with each other, it's technically creating a line. So kind of like this wall and this wall is creating that line right there. It would just like continuously pass each other. So that makes a line. So this is on the backside, 2 planes. When 2 planes intersect, you need a line specifically. So on the back, there's a bunch of different problems. We're going to start with number 1. I want you to take a couple minutes. You can talk to people at your table, or you can do it by yourself. Doesn't matter. Just take a couple minutes, try number 1, and then we'll talk about number 1's answers because a lot of people are getting them correct, but they're just like writing it a little wrong. That way we can correct it, and then that way you're like good for the rest of them. So take a minute, take a couple minutes. Collinear means that they're all on the same line. Yeah, put your phone on the ledge. Yep. Get off your watch. Your math. A line that contains point F. You could put MN with a little line on top, yeah. What'd you say? So you would have to use two letters. You could say M, you say MO, you say NO.
Okay.
So when we name a line, you use two letters. When you name a plane, it's two letters. So a point is one, a line is two, a plane is three. And you would just list all those points. You want to flip it back separate real quick so you can get those problems in? Because we did those too. Here. Here you go. Because it's a line, you have to pick two letters on that line.
Oh, I was just making. Yes.
Yep, that's correct. Okay, we're ready to talk about number one? Are we ready to talk about our answers? Okay, let's go over number one. Okay, so numero uno, A, says 4 collinear points. Collinear means that they all need to fall on the same line. So there's only one possible answer for this. Anybody want to tell me? H, N, K, and I. And if you wrote it backwards, if you wrote I, K, N, H, that's also correct. It doesn't matter. As long as you're talking about this line, that's the only line with 4 points. So whatever order they're in, it's totally fine. Does not matter. A line that contains point M. MNO, technically, when you're naming a line, you should not use 3 letters. So you could say NO, you could say line P, you could say MN, you could say MO. Do not write all of these. As long as you have one of them, and even if the letters are backwards, then that's totally fine. As long as you have one answer, then it's fine. But when you're naming a plane, that's when you use 3 letters. When you're naming a line, you use any 2 letters on that line. A line that contains point H and K. Line R. Did anybody write anything else for that one? So when you do H, K, and I, when you're naming a line specifically, you use 2 letters. So I could say line HI. I could say HK. I could say a bunch of combinations that I'm not going to write because that would take way too long. And it's not that serious. But any 2 letters, HN, NK, KI, NI, whatever, it doesn't matter. Or line R would be the easiest. Those are all correct. Another name for line Q. LK. So you could say LK with the little arrows, or you could write the word line. You could also say KJ. You could say KL, JL, anything on those lines as long as it's 2 letters on line. And then what's the intersection of lines P and R? Point N. Yeah, bring me your phone. Try number 2, take a couple minutes. Try number 2. Talk to the people at your table, maybe. You guys can socialize, you guys can talk. Antisocial high schoolers. So number 2 is talking about planes and lines. So it's getting a little crazier. Sure. It says another name for line K. So you need 2 letters on line K. Mhm. And if you're wondering, can anybody tell me why they like this is dashed? Yes, because it's going through it. So if I took this piece of paper and I stabbed it with a pen, and I literally went through the center of it, you wouldn't be able to see the bottom half of my pen because it's the plane is technically covering my pen. So that's why it's dashed. It's still one line. It's just the bottom half you can't see because it's under the plane. Started it, you were writing something on this paper. Yeah, just plug it in and throw it and get the answer. So you can name a plane 2 ways. You can use 3 letters. Or you can use the 1 letter that distinguishes like the plane. So like last time, there's 2 ways we did it. We did 3 letters on the plane, so J, K, and L. Or we said plane P, because P's in the corner and it's not a.
So B represents. Oh,
So what letter would match that plane? Yeah, so we could say plane M. Okay, let's talk about number 2. Okay, so number 2, and if you're not done, it's not a big deal. It says use the diagram to the right to name the following. So a line containing point F. Line J. You can't just say J, you have to say line J. That would be the easiest one to use, would be line J. Or you could use 2 letters on that line. You could say DE, EF, DF with the little arrow on top. That would also be correct. Another name for line K. So you could say BE with the little line on top. What else could you say? BC. You could also say CB. Technically, it's totally fine if the letters are backwards. It's not a big deal. A plane containing point A. Plane M. So if you did not put the word plane, just add it in there. So plane M. Or you could use 3 letters to name your plane. Most people probably did not do that, but you could say like ADE, AEF. 3 letters on that plane would also work. An example of 3 non-collinear points. Non-collinear are 3 points not on the same line. A, B, and C. So A, B, and C are not on the same line because A technically is not on line B, C. Although B and C are on the same line, it does not matter. They can both be on the same line as long as I have one oddball that's not on there. And then the intersection of plane M and line K. Point E, because that's where I'm stabbing my piece of paper. Point E. Okay, so you have 2 problems for your homework. I'm going to grade this tomorrow. You have 10, 15 minutes right now. You could just do it straight, finish it in class, and that way you don't have to actually take it home. If you need to work on your IXL and you need help, you could do that. I have a computer if you would like to use it. And that's pretty much it. So let me know if you need help.